What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So I want to address what people have been saying about the Bloodline 2.0, as I call them, the diet bloodline. Okay, a lot of people online have been saying that this iteration of the bloodline is boring. It's a snooze fest. For me personally, when it comes to these guys, I gotta agree, bro. I'm sorry, I gotta agree. I mean, it's not as bad as people make it seem online, but it definitely is half a melatonin dipped in ZQL. That's what this is, bro. It's putting me to sleep just a little bit. Now, this is coming from a person who always say to wait and see how these things play out. As I call Triple H the slow cooker booker, because he likes to slow burn these storylines, and usually they develop into something amazing, something beautiful, and that's what's been making WWE so good as of recently. I know that this is building up a platform for a storyline for something in the future. I get that. And this part of any story is usually not the most entertaining part. I get that too. And there's so many things that can come out of this. Having Cody Rhodes watch Kevin Owens and Randy Orton get beat up, you know, it can create a storyline of internal conflict for Cody Rhodes. Will this be the reason why Randy turned on Cody? And if that happens, how will Kevin Owens respond to Randy when he turns on Cody? Will he side with Cody or will he side with Randy? There's so many different things that can come out of this. But I can't assess something I'm looking at right now by what it could be in the future. I know what the possibilities are, but I don't know. All I can go by is what I see right here, right now. Now, in saying that, I don't want to say there's something wrong with them without trying to offer some type of solution or something they could have done to resolve this issue before it became a thing of them being boring. And I want to talk to you guys about that really quick. So I feel like there's three things that are plaguing the Bloodline 2.0 to put them in this category where a lot of people are calling them boring. And I know the easy thing that people would like to say is Solo Sikoa's negative aura. And you can say that. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I don't want to go straight to that because that's low-hanging fruit. And even if that's the case, the job of WWE Creative and the writers is pretty much the same thing as any sports team, is that you have to find out what that weakness is, try to mask it, and then improve on the strengths. And they definitely could have did it here because these people, the Bloodline 2.0, they don't really have any personality. I mean, this iteration of these wrestlers in their career as a part of the Bloodline 2.0, they don't have a personality at all. All they do is attack people, be aggressive, wear all black all day. Some of them wear chains and some of them wear frohawks. That's all it is for these guys. They don't do anything. And their personalities do not evolve and would not evolve. But again, there's three things I think could definitely help this situation or would have helped it. For one, I think one of the problems that caused them to go into this direction is the absence of Paul Heyman. Okay. Number two, the order in which they attacked people. I feel like that could have been switched around to kind of fix this whole thing. And number three, the anticipation of the return of Roman Reigns. Now, I'm gonna start off there because a lot of people are thinking about that as opposed to what the Bloodline is doing, because the storyline that they have going on with them right now isn't really that interesting. It isn't. And when it gets to the point where it's not that interesting, people are not going to focus on what they're doing anymore. They're going to focus on, oh my God, when is Roman Reigns going to come back? They're not even focused on this anymore. It's like when you're at a job and you get done 15 minutes too early. Like if you work at a kitchen or at a retail store or whatever, and you got to do a bunch of random stuff in order to kill time, like just sweep stuff you don't need to sweep, mop the sidewalk or something random like that. It feels like we're at this point where they're just doing stuff to wait for the return of Roman Reigns. Like the fans are waiting for it, and it feels like the creative teams are waiting for Roman Reigns to come back. And you can just feel it. You can feel that. And a lot of people will say, well, it wouldn't have mattered because whatever they did would have been boring because the fans would have always focused on Roman Reigns. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I don't think the anticipation of the return of a wrestler would automatically take the fans' focus off the storyline that's being told right here. Because we just seen on Monday Night Raw the anticipation of the return of Rhea Ripley. And while she was gone, we had the whole storyline between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, and, you know, a little mix of the Judgment Day in there. So that was enough to keep people interested. It was a good storyline, and it built up little by little as far as the the raunchiness, I guess, for lack of a better term, between Liv and Dominic got worse and worse as the weeks went on. Dominic Mysterio kept changing. We don't know why he was doing whatever. It got a little bit more, you know, raunchy as time went on. And the fans are like, oh my God, the storyline is evolving too fast. It's getting crazy. When will Rhea Ripley return? What will Rhea Ripley do when she returned? But still, they were still, you know, into the story itself. I can't say the same for the Bloodline 2.0 storyline because there's just nothing there. There's no reason to really care. And that goes to the, the thing is, like, when you have these guys where there's nothing happening in the story, these guys don't really have a personality that evolves. I get it. They're supposed to be heel faction, one-on-one, where they attack all the faces and they destroy people. That's how they strike fear into people. But the problem is, if they're not going to have a personality, you got to put somebody in the group that has a personality, and they had that in Paul Heyman. I felt like, and this goes into, Paul Heyman being missing, and as far as, the order of the attacks, it kind of coincides, because I felt like they got rid of Paul Heyman a little bit too early, way too early, because the only person that had a personality that was able to evolve was Paul Heyman. Because they could have kept this going on where they were like week after week, Solo's getting more annoyed with Paul Heyman. What is Paul Heyman going to do to try to stop these guys? Will he try to contact Roman Reigns? Will he try to continue to speak, sense into Solo Sikoa's mind? Will he continue to get, like, it was just, if they kept going with that, it would have made it that much more entertaining. And then they could have did the whole thing with the Tribal Chief ceremony with Solo Sikoa, with them attacking Paul Heyman by him because he didn't acknowledge Solo Sikoa. That could have been the final attack out of all of these attacks they've done so far. So, because when you have that attack first, now the Bloodline 2.0 did the worst thing they could do to really piss off Roman Reigns. So now that that's done, anything they do after is like, well, they've already done the worst. So what are we even looking forward to? And that's why I brought up the whole situation with Dominic Mysterio, because it kept evolving. They hadn't done the worst thing they could do to piss off Rhea Ripley yet. They were building up to that little by little, so fans are watching on a week-to-week basis to see just how far will they go with this whole thing. Will they get to the point where they start thumping thighs? Is that what's going to happen? But again, with them, with the Bloodline 2.0, you did that too early, so it's like they've already done the worst. So what they're doing to Randy Orton and to Cody Rhodes, it don't really mean anything, because we're just focused on the things that's leading up to Roman Reigns coming back and having a problem with Solo Sikoa. That's the only thing. And that's the other thing I want to add to that too. The type of attacks they did to people. Now, I know I'm being anal about this. I know I'm being really nitpicky, but I think this plays a role too, because the way that they attack people, they keep using that shield powerbomb through a table over and over and over, and it starts to feel like Groundhog Day, because at the end of SmackDown, somebody's getting powerbombed through that table. We know what's coming. At the end of every single episode, it would have been that. And when you continue to do the same move as a heel faction, is even just a heel wrestler, you keep doing the same move over and over, it starts to lose like the fear that it should strike into people. Because now it's like, okay, the feeling's already gone. You already did the Paul Heyman, so you doing it to Randy or Cody Rhodes, it's not gonna feel the same. So if they would have found a way to find new ways to attack people or to finish people off, I think that would have made it that much more entertaining. And if Solo would have been the person to put the final nail in the coffin in these attacks, as opposed to Jacob Fatu getting the most out of these people, because he's been the one that's been the most interesting out of the group so far, it would have made Solo look a little bit more devastating, because he's the one that has a match against Cody leading into SummerSlam. He's the one that got to deal with Roman Reigns. But to me, at this point, I'm just like, I think it'll be more interesting if Jacob Fatu stands up and stands in the face of Roman Reigns as opposed to Solo Sikoa. I feel like that would be a more interesting situation, and it shouldn't be that way if Solo is supposed to be this tribal chief so far, and I feel like they didn't do that right. But at the end of the day, again, I do feel like they're going to build this up into something interesting in the future. But as of now, they haven't done anything to really make us care. Now, as far as attacking people, I think what they did to Kevin Owens on SmackDown was the most creative they've gotten with that, by putting a chair on his head and pushing him into the corner. And I think that was great for Tama Tonga, because Tama Tonga hadn't, as far as him, he should be allowed to do some crazy stuff by himself as well. I know he was doing things before Jacob Fatu showed up, but it'll be great to get him in this mix a little bit more as well. But at the end of the day, those things I personally feel like would have definitely helped out this whole situation. But I would like to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think I'm thinking too much into this? Because if I am, just let me know. It is what it is. I don't mind hearing it. I don't get offended. I'm not sensitive. But if you agree with me, let me know. And if there's other things that you've noticed that caused the downfall of the Bloodline, as far as it being boring in this moment, right? I'm not going to say downfall as in like it's over for them. They can be redeemed. Once Roman comes back, it's going to pick right up. We're going to all forget what's been happening right now until we do like a whole Bloodline in retrospect type of thing. But What do you guys think? What would you have added? What would you have taken away in order to make this a better experience for the fans? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a good day.